Hello everyone. So today we'll be discussing the theory of plate tectonics and the related theories. So before discussing plate tectonics, first we'll be discussing this continental drift theory, then seafloor spreading, geomagnetism, and then finally we'll discuss the details of plate tectonics theory. So moving on to the continental drift theory. Now this theory was proposed by a German meteorologist Alfred Wegener, right? And he wrote a book Origin of Continent and Oceans in 1912. This was later translated into English and the basic premises of the theory have been covered in this book, right? So as per the Alfred Wegener, this in the Carboniferous period, a supercontinent known as Pangaea it existed, and it was located near present Durban, and it was surrounded by a huge water body known as Panthalassa. Right. The next premises in the Alfred Wegener's theory was that Sial is floating over Sima, and the next one is the northern part was called Laurentia and the southern part was known as Gondwana. We'll be discussing the different stages in our next few slides, and then this Pangaea was divided in these northern and southern part, and the intervening space was filled by a shallow and meandering water body known as Tethys Sea. Now these are the different stages of Alfred Wegener's theory. Now see how these continents drifted. Initially, during the Carboniferous period, I told you that a huge supercontinent existed, and this supercontinent known as Pangaea, it was surrounded by a huge water body known as Panthalassa. In the next stage, what happened? Initially, there was flight of continents. These continents began to drift gradually and they broke into pieces. The northern part was known as Laurentia and the southern part was known as Gondwana. This northern part, Laurentia, it is also known as Angara land. Okay. In the next stage, the opening of Tethys took place. Now, in this, the intervening space between Laurentia and Gondwana, it got filled with Tethys and it was gradually getting widened as these continents were drifting. In the next stage, there was this westward drift of North and South America. They started drifting westward and it led to the opening of Atlantic Ocean. The present S shape of Atlantic Ocean is due to the westward drift of North and South America. The next stage, that is the orogenic stage, it was this stage when the different mountains like Rockies and Andes were formed. Okay. Yes, these are the different stages. You can see initially during the Carboniferous period, there is this whole supercontinent known as Pangaea, surrounded by a huge water body. This was Panthalassa. Now, in the second stage, there is flight of continents. These continents are drifting northwards, and you can see there is this intervening space that is Tethys Sea. The northern part is known as Laurentia or Angara land, and the southern part is known as Gondwana land. Right, and India was a part of Gondwana land. You can see here, this is India, just near Madagascar. Okay, the east of Africa. Here, then this Tethys Sea is getting widened. Okay, now you can see here there is this westward drift of North America, and South America, and there is this opening of Atlantic Ocean. Right, so this was the westward drift. The next one, this is the present shape of a world map. You can see here, this is the S shape of Atlantic Ocean due to the westward drift of North and South America. India has gradually moved from near Madagascar. It is moving in the northeastward direction. Right, you can see here India, and then gradually it is settled here. Okay, and this plate is moving still. The next one, the forces responsible for continent drift. Now, why these continents were drifting? As per Alfred Wegener, there were two forces responsible for these continental drift. For the northward shift of continents, the difference between force of buoyancy and the gravitational pull was responsible for moving the continents northward towards the equator. I told you Pangaea was earlier near Durban, right? And these continents started drifting northward, and later North and South America, they started drifting westward. So the reason or the force responsible for westward drift was the tidal force of moon. Now later in the limitations, we'll study that these forces are not at all sufficient to drift huge continents. Okay, so this was one of the major limitation of continental drift theory, and that is why it was rejected. Okay, so now the coming on to the evidences. In order to support or justify the theory, Alfred Wegener gave a number of evidences. Now these are 4 or 5 evidences. The first one is the jigsaw fit evidence. Now you'll see here in the next slide. See the shape of continents. Here the continents are fitting together. Can you see the eastern bulge of South America near Brazil and the western part of Africa? If they are brought together, they can be fitted completely. Similarly, Antarctica, Australia, India, you can see here these continents, if they are brought together, they'll fit like puzzle pieces. Okay, so this was one of the major evidence. Now the second evidence was related to fossil fuels. Now Wegener found that same kind of fossil fuels are found on different continents. You can see here, see these all were part of Gondwana land: South America, Africa, India, Antarctica and Australia. Okay, and if you see, same kind of fossil fuels have been found in different continents. For example, these are mesosaurs, right? Now the fossil fuels of mesosaurs are found in the eastern part of South America and on the western part of Africa. Now some said that these mesosaurs can fly from this eastern part of America, South America, to western part of Africa, but these mesosaurs do not have such capability to swim across a large ocean. So the reason behind this is that these continents were once together, and that is why same kind of fossil fuels are found here. Okay, similarly in this you can see here Glossopteris. Now Glossopteris is a fern. It is found in Australia, Antarctica, India, southern part of India, then Africa and South America. Now the reason behind this is because these continents were once together as a part of Gondwana land, and that is why same kind of fossil fuels are found here. Okay, now the third evidence is related to climate. Now see, in this climatic evidence, here you can see this one is the paleoclimatic evidence. Now see, coal deposits have been found in temperate and polar regions. Currently, coal is found in Siberia region. It is found in Russia region. It is found in the lower part of Gondwana land. Now, generally, coal will be found in tropical regions only, because coal is found under intense heat and heat and pressure. This is possible in tropical regions. But since coal is found in the Siberia region, Russia region, so Wegener concluded that these continents were once together. They were they were in the tropical region, and then they drifted in the temperate region, and that is why coal is found in temperate region. Okay. So the next evidence, again it is related to climate. What happened, this Wegener observed that glacial striations, or we can say glacial marks, are witnessed in all these continents. We can say Antarctica, the southern part of Africa, then again the South America, India and parts of Australia. Now see, these parts of Africa or South America or India, these are currently in tropical regions, right? And there is no possibility of glacier formation in such tropical regions, right? So how come these glacial marks are found in these regions? So Wegener concluded that these all continents were once together as a part of Gondwana land, and they were somewhere near this Durban, or we can conclude that in the temperate region, and that is why earlier the glaciers used to exist there, and that is why the marks of glaciers are present. Okay. Then the next one is the geological evidence. This geological evidence mainly means same types of rock and same age of rocks have been found in both parts of this eastern part of North America and the western part of Europe. Eastern part of North America includes the Appalachian Mountains, and the western part of Europe includes the Scandinavian mountains. The age and type of rock is same in both these mountains. So Wegener concluded that these continents were once together. Okay. Then the last evidence is the biological evidence. Now in this there is a unique feature of lemmings. These are birds. They have a tendency to migrate westwards for the search of land, and they migrate from Europe and they migrate towards west, that is the Atlantic Ocean. But these creatures have no idea that the land has actually shifted westward due to the continental drift, and that leads to their mass suicide. So again, Wegener concluded that earlier there used to exist a land on the west of Europe and not Atlantic Ocean, and since these continents were once together and gradually they have drifted. Okay, so now coming on to the criticism. I told you this force is not sufficient to drift the continents. Then pre-Carboniferous history is not known. This Wegener said that Pangaea used to exist in Carboniferous period, but he has not mentioned anything about pre-Carboniferous period. Now, why there was this only northward and westward drift of continent? Why not in eastward or in any other direction? Then another thing was related to formation of mountains. Rockies and Andes was formed as per Wegener due to friction by the underlying layer. And this is again contradictory, because initially he said that Sial is floating over Sima. So if Sial is floating over Sima without resistance, then how come this formation of Rockies and Andes? And the last one is he did not explain the formation of oceanic ridges and island arcs. Okay, thank you.